and Kring. We've got Holden here, and Matti, Evie, Manasi, Echo, and that's our group. And this topic is mainly about art, activism, and more specifically, the question, what are you here for? More in the context of what am I here for personally, as in what do I want to feel in the world? How do I want to be in the world? And then also, what am I here for externally, which is what causes do I care about? What is something that is something I care about deeply outside of myself. So I'll start off by just a little preface of what this organization is and what we're endeavoring to do. Essentially, our organization is called Here, and it's based around the question, what are you here for? And looking at the digital, social, and consumer world and trying to integrate more ethical and impactful language. Given that social media has a global platform and everyone has a global voice, we want to try to create a global language for talking about what people are here for and driving pretty much any sort of dollar flow from any digital or consumer process towards causes in need by utilizing a lot of the technology that exists both on a personal level in the sense of like sacred spaces and sacred gatherings that people have, like community and place, but also merging that with tech in recognizing that there is also, a world of advanced technology that needs to be harnessed and utilized towards a impactful conversation. So anyways, we'll just kind of get started and get into everything. And I can start that off by just going around the room, and essentially what we're gonna do is ask everyone who they are, what they're here for, and why. So I'll kick it off. My name's Ethan. I'm here for climate action and allowing other people to find out what they're here for. And why I'm here for that is on a surface level, I'm here for climate action because I have done work as a youth activist in the climate crisis world. And that's something that I'm particularly passionate about because I believe that ties into all other issues. And that if we can solve the climate crisis, then it's a trickle down towards other issues as well. And that is something that matters really deep to me. And then on a personal level, why I'm here for that is more along the lines of relative to the just anxiety or dread or discomfort that the climate crisis has given me mental health wise, and just wanting to be able to push past a sense of always hearing in my head, like, what's the point and why am I here? What is the point of doing something? This kind of deep existential crisis, and knowing that when you quit in the face of great challenges, whether it's the climate crisis or social rights issues, the bigger the challenge, it's just the bigger it is of a leap of faith and of courage to step up against those challenges and be here for them. So that's why I'm here for that. So I'll pass the ball over. I can't see necessarily the entire group right now, so I'm not sure what the order looks like, but we'll go over to Holden right now, and then we'll go through everyone else.
Hello, everyone. My name's Holden, and I'm here for environmental reconstruction. And it's just all about how we as humanity need to kind of switch on and like learn more about what we're doing to our world, how we're polluting it, and just the negative impacts we're having on it on the daily, just by going on with our daily lives. And I feel like the main way is through education, and just how people need to know how they're going to combat this issue, because we're all on this earth and it isn't just going to magically repair itself. We need to actively, as a group, all work together. And if only some of us are participating and actually want to change, then nothing's going to happen. We're going to get nowhere. So I feel like I'm just trying to show that we need to, through activism, we need to show that we need to all come together, and there needs to be a global change, or the world's going to be so damaged that it's going to be irreparable quite soon. So yeah, that's pretty much me.
Do we want to go to Matti, or is Matti in the room?
Hi everyone, I'm Matti, and I'm here for education, because I believe that education is the basis of life, and as everyone was saying, it should be used as a bridge for anyone to be equally able to achieve their full potential.
Thank you. Is Manasi here?
Yes. Okay. I am Manasi, and I'm here for GenZ empowerment and GenZ leadership. So the world is accelerating, the advancements are accelerating, but seeing that the problems are also being amplified. Now these problems, I believe from my perspective, they have been divided into these two branches. The one which have been existing since the other generation, but the other side is the problems that have not been faced before by any generation. So Gen Z is the generation which is the first generation to be born and raised in technology. So the problems Gen Z is facing is totally new from those faced by other generations. So the solutions that were developed by the generations previously might not be convenient and efficient as much for our problems. So I think there are a lot of problems you're facing. This is the truth. And we need more and more Gen Z problem solvers. So I think we need to develop more of these Gen Z problem solvers, and we need to bridge the gap of people, of students, of young people, youth who are not aware of these problems and who are aware. So we need to bridge that gap and try and solve this problem. So this is what I try to do with my workshops and talks and writing. So that's why I am here for. Thank you.
Thanks, Manasi. Is Evie here? Do we want to go to Evie?
Hi, I'm Evie, and I'm here for gender equality and equity, because in my mind, it's the most logical and important thing to be here for in our world, because as of now, half of our population is living in fear, and there is a distinction of hatred that is caused, and it divides our humankind, and therefore global societal progression can't take place, and there's no point in that if we want to continue with our culture and being.
Thanks, Evie. Echo.
Hey, I'm Echo Caise, and I'm a 15 years old painter from Los Angeles, and I'm here for social justice. I've witnessed so many people, not only in Los Angeles, but I've seen on social media, it's so many people of any race, gender, just being brought down, or religion just being brought down because of what they believe, and it's not good. And I think that the only way to change is to actually come together. And I hope that with art, for example, not people who view the art, but other artists themselves, they might be able to be educated and join the struggle too. And I think that's what's most important.
Thanks, Echo. So the next kind of question that we want to run through is just pros and cons of social media. How have we seen it change in our lifetimes? And what do we see are the pros and cons currently? So I can kick that off. I think how it's changed for me personally is, I would say less than it's changed a lot, but I think a lot of the core ideas are still kind of the same, and the structure and format, the centralized format of it is kind of still the same, just expanding. So how it's changed for me is more in how it's changed me, not so much as I've seen it change, but just what it's done in terms of my growth as a person. And to speak to that, I think there are a lot of benefits with social media, given that it connects a global audience of people, and it connects you based off of mutual interests, beliefs, choices, whatever it is. And there's been a lot of impact that's come out of it, positive impact and collaboration, social movements. But that also has its opposites and its polar opposites. And I guess I personally have seen more cons than pros in how it's affected the development of young people, including myself. We don't have too much time to get into everything and my whole story and what that is, but for the most part, I'd say that there's it's a bigger discussion than what we have for the 25 minutes, but I'll say that it's changed me more than I've noticed it change as a general product in the world. Holden?
So I think that, well, my biggest fear is just the power that it gives people. And I feel like it has sometimes a tendency to bring a spotlight to millions of people to the wrong influencers, if you want. It doesn't really bring attention to people actively trying to change the world, like so activists, anything pretty much. And it's just giving the spotlight to teenagers who are dancing on a video. And I just feel like there needs to be kind of change. There needs to be more attention around these people who are actively trying to do something for the world, rather than people who are just trying to gain popularity with people. And I feel social media should be here I think it should be here for everything. I think every single key topic, from equality to what anyone is here for, needs to be spoken up on social media, as it is a big platform and it can get key messages across it's the easiest to send an outreach to other people. So I feel like it needs to be used for what it can be, instead of just random stuff. It needs to actually be focused more, like I was saying, more on change, more on trying to give an outlook to other people on, change. It's very much it.
Okay, thanks, Holden. Matti?
I think that what's been happening in our world for the past few months has had an amazing reflection in social media. I think that over everything that's been happening, like the Black Lives Movement, I generally saw a lot more people like using their platforms to advocate for the sake of a cause, instead of just self-promoting. But what I've also witnessed was that as soon as that wave of protests was kind of like is down, people stopped posting about this issue, and it's not like the issue isn't important anymore. It's just like I think that the biggest problem with social media, that should be such an amazing tool to really advocate for causes that deserve it, is that in social media everything just kind of seems like a trend, and I'm so afraid that people start treating these very serious issues as such. So I think that's a very big con.
Thanks, Matti. Manasi?
Yes, can you hear me properly now?
The audio quality yeah.
I have no idea why. I'll just try speaking more loudly if that helps.
Okay, then I think, and then time-wise, I think we've got to kind of speed a little bit. So.
Okay. Alright. So I'll just try speaking more loudly if that helps, and hopefully you can hear me.
Sure.
Okay. So one of my biggest fear about social media is that it might make a lot of youth, a lot of our generation insecure about themselves. Because if you take an example of Instagram, I think there are people who are posting photos about themselves, and then there are people who get insecure if they don't really match up to what others are posting. So I think it may make a person insecure about themselves, and the platform itself, I think they should take on some movements or some campaigns to inspire a change, and we try to make teens comfortable in their own skin. So I think if they can start movements or campaigns like that, that would be helpful.
Thanks, Mike. Let's go to Evie.
Well, I'm someone who throughout my life has made a conscious effort to kind of avoid social media as a whole. And because of that, I'm obviously a bit more biased and more likely to recognize the cons of social media. But I can understand that there are advantages and disadvantages, just like everything else in the world. But I think as of now, the way in which people are using social media, the advantages aren't really advantages anymore. So for example, becoming educated, learning things from other people, that's a great concept originally, but right now that's being twisted into a fact where you only, maybe you only see the information you want to see, so you don't have other opinions that you're combating. And then when it comes to real life, you'll meet someone who inevitably has a different opinion, and you won't be prepared to have a debate because you've never learned that, and you might have misinformation, you might have wrong facts, and that will inevitably lead to some sort of violence or aggression because you've never been prepared anything else. So I think that's probably one of my biggest fears about social media, is the way in which things can be twisted in real life from a virtual standpoint.
Okay, thanks, Evie. Echo?
Personally, I'm also on the side of misinformation. I just think that on social media, so often people see like a 5-second clip or a picture with a caption and jump to conclusions without actually knowing what the story is. And I just think that's really dangerous, because like that, it just stems hatred, and like there's like lots of like people hating someone or a group that they really don't know what's going on with them. And I just think that's really sad.
Thanks, Echo. So the last final question is, what advice would you give people who are in charge of social media and work for social media? And that's typically people who are older than Gen Z. So that is the last question. I can start it off, and because we've got 2 minutes, we'll just really speed through it. I think I'd just summarize it in that I think social media has the capability to save the world, and they should do the right thing. It's the hard thing, but it's the right thing, and take the risk, because they're gonna die anyways, so you might as well do the right thing. And maybe stop bypassing all your guilt by like meditating or whatever in Silicon Valley. So that's it.
So I'm just gonna do it in a sentence. They need to take a step back and realize the power they hold and try and redirect this power in a more influential and more helpful way to the earth, and think more about everyone else instead of themselves, and recognize that they're being maybe greedy. That's it.
Matti?
Yeah, for me is actually learn how to adapt. It's new times, and since you will such power, learn how to do it right. I think that's it.
Manasi?
Yes, so for me, I think they should not stop learning, and they should not think that, they're old, so they know a lot of things. I think since developments are accelerating practically every day, they should not stop learning, and they should just be ready to adapt to new technologies and new situations every day.
Evie?
I think, although it might be considered a slightly naive viewpoint, I think the creators of social media, let's call them that, they need to understand, and a natural human instinct is profit, and the idea that we need profit to survive. But I think on such a influential and big platform, you need to look away from profit and try and understand that the thing that you've created is affecting people in a certain way. And it's important to stray away from the only idea of profit, and rather the possibilities and potential of the thing that you've created.
Echo?
I think that the creators actually need to take part in social media, because so often they'll create it, but they don't actually know what's going on. And if they really joined and saw what's happening, they would see how negative it really is. And I think that would cause them to start changing.
All right, well, thank you guys. Thanks to the creative team. And yeah, thanks for anyone and everyone who was listening. Close it up. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.